Oh, drugs, obviously. Assault, duh. DUI, burglary. The, the Matt Miller Real Podcast. The Matt Miller Real Podcast. Okay, guys, another podcast. Another is this being recorded too hot beginning. It's what day is it of the week? The Celtics just lost yesterday. If you're following my sports news that I generally do on the podcast, the C's just lost, which is nice. They got killed by the Heat in the final game. So they are out of it at this point. At this point, this is episode 6. And that's been long over. The finals are definitely done. Congratulations to the Miami Heat for winning the NBA Finals. I put down a same game parlay where I get a bonus bet back, and I put it down for the Heat to win because they're the major underdogs. And, I just might as well just put the bony bet down there. So if the Heat do win, just know your boy Matty is $31 richer. What else is going on? I went to New Orleans recently, and so this was about to be episode 5's Patreon, but I'm like, I got a lot to talk about. But then I'm like, now I'm downplaying the Patreon as not being as good. And so this is actually episode 6. No, I just felt like I wanted to give this to the masses. I like to spread secrets on the Patreon that you would never hear. This is some mass talk I got. I visited New Orleans recently, ate a lot of nice food. I don't know why that's funny. It's not really that funny. I'm just moving a lot of stuff around my desk here. Had a lot of nice charbroiled oysters. You ever have those? Fucking munched them all down in my fucking mouth and ate them so much that I was, how oysters are, what do they call aphrodisiacs? I was hard as a fucking rock oyster, if that's a type of oyster. That's how hard I was. Fucking busting out my pants because I was munching down so many oysters where they just cook them in big flames. They make big flames. They stick the oysters. The flames go through them. Charboiled. Why don't I know the names of things that I eat? Those were good. And that's mostly what I wanted to bring to this episode. Yeah, charbroiled. With a lot of, butter and garlic, black pepper. Munching them on down. So what happened one time is we were leaving. There's this Harrah's Casino, which is owned by Caesar, so it's changing its name to Caesar. We were leaving that, and just a block away from us, we heard gunshots go off, and there was a group of people running away from them, and we're like, oh, did somebody get shot? And then, we looked on the news, and yeah, a guy was shot and killed that night right near us, so that's pretty fun. It was Memorial Day weekend, and there was a lot of a lot of gun violence in the U.S. on Memorial Day weekend. But yes, there was a guy killed. We saw people running, and we're like, oh, wow. And then we kept walking, and because we were in New Orleans, there was a big bus of all these women just singing. It was a bachelorette party, and they were just singing and dancing, drinking. Yeah, blah, 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 we're in New Orleans. And, right after listening to a guy get murdered. And it's just two different people in the same place, but in living two very different experiences as humans, but not being too far from each other. Just, what I'm saying is it's a little, it's a wild world out there. And hopefully rest in peace to, the dead person, rest in peace. And hopefully those bachelorettes had a good time. But it was a very interesting experience. I rolled some craps. I played actually bubble craps. I just sat alone. Played the horn bet. I don't know if you play craps. I hit the horn bet 4 times. I went up I think I only actually finished up $40 or something, but had a great time. Gambled on sports. I'm just bringing all my trip stuff. They have this bar in New Orleans. I don't know if you've ever been. Lafayette's has this voodoo daiquiri, which is bourbon and Everclear and grape, be it servant, I can't even speak most of the time. Syrup or juice, grape something with the bourbon and the Everclear, and it's a frozen drink, of course. In New Orleans, it's all spinning in the thing. Drank a few of those, having a good time drinking those. We went to a bar, had $2 beers. Felt like I was, back a boy in the college days, just drinking cheap beers. What a fun old time. We got some weed from a back of a car. I was worried it was going to be fake weed. They let us smell it, and we bought it. And then I got a nice Bart Simpson original bowl from a New Orleans convenience shop. It has a little, engraved Bart Simpson thing, not engraved, but put on it. It's a little spotty. It must have been sitting there in the sun for a while, but So we got this weed from this lady on the street, and then we went to the thing and we smoked it, and it was good weed. And we had a grand old time in old New Orleans. So there you go. Sometimes the episodes will be about nice things, like my big trips. I learned about zombifying. Haitian zombie comes from Haiti, voodoo religion stuff. Voodoo religion stuff. So something they would do. So the French occupied Haiti. This is my understanding. Don't take this like it's exactly what happened, but this is from what I remember, from what I was learning. The zombifying process. So there were slaves in Haiti. The French owned the Haitians, and then there was the lead slave that was also a slave, but would lead the other slaves. And if one of the slaves wanted to commit suicide, they didn't want that to happen, because in their religion, suicide was bad. So what they did was they zombified them, meaning they would use blowfish poison to paralyze them and other whatever herbs and spices, 12 herbs and spices, KFC. And then they'd bury them for a few hours and then dig them up, give them the antidote. But because of all the poisoning and the burying and the traumatizing, I'm mumbling through my words here. You see what I'm saying? So they traumatize them, paralyze them with the fucking blowfish, unbury them, and then people would get kind of brain damage and shit, and they'd become a lot more docile and subservient and be better slaves and not want to kill themselves. So this is what they did. Any slave that was I'm done with all this shit, they're we're going to zombify you. Now, I don't know if they did it to all of them. I think a lot of people did just commit suicide. And I think certain people were just picked for some reason. But that's what they did. God, I'm recording this in the middle of the day, and I'm getting this midday stamper stew, which is what I'm trying to say is I'm feeling low energy, but I'm trying to give you top energy to describe this fucking Haitian zombifying fucking shit I learned about. When I was in New Orleans, it was such bright, sunshiny days, and I was feeling good stomping around the fucking town, seeing people around, saying, hello, oh, would you like a nice frozen daiquiri? Okay, I'll drink one of those. I'll drink a green apple one, because I'm an adult, and I like to down fucking green apple sugary fucking drinks, all right? And now I'm because we just came back, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the response of my body to all those days of partying, downing beers, drinks, weed in the hot sun. We went to this gay pool, a pool full of gay guys, and we were just living it up out there. So this is why I'm here, and I'm trying to talk to you about fucking zombies, but I'm getting low energy. And I'm trying to ramp it up because I'm here to bring you the entertainment that you deserve. So anyhow, yeah. The suicidal fucking slaves, they would zombify them. Just to recap. Now I'm in it. Now I'm in the cast. And I was thinking this kind of relates to how like people these days we're all like slaves to the system, right? And everyone, and people start to get a little crazy. Start to get depressed and suicidal every day. They're doing the same thing. They hate their job. They don't like what they're doing. And then what do they get? They get prescribed fucking antidepressants, so they don't want to kill themselves, and they want to just be more docile and subservient. So you take antidepressants, and then you just follow your job. And it's much like how the Haitians would zombify the slaves that were suicidal. Now we're just zombifying it, and it's medical prescription. See what I'm saying here? We're 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 all, I don't know why I'm laughing so much at this. We're all just in this one slave system here, and now we get paid money. We get to it's much better now. We get cash. We can buy nice things, have fun stuff, be all silly, go to New Orleans and drink and have silly times with the cash. But we're still like for the labor we do, a lot of people don't like their jobs, and they take pills and stuff to basically zombify themselves. So what I'm saying is American culture is a lot like Haitian slave culture, or I guess, or maybe the capitalist system, maybe this particular system. You see what I'm saying here? But yeah, no, that's where the word zombie comes from. The people that they gave the blowfish poison to. They had we went to this little voodoo museum, and there was a little blowfish thing. I think it was a blowfish, a mummified blowfish, if that's the right term, or what do you call it? A taxidermied fish blowfishums. Is that a nice blowfishums over there? We should go blow fishing. That way we can have a little bit of the poison and then paralyze ourselves, and then once we get healed, we'll be zombies. Yes, the people will be called zombies, the people after the process. I don't know if I explained this. And yeah, they'd be more docile, more willing to serve. And that's what we do in the medical system when people are fed up with their lives. We say, here, take these pills. I'm explaining this over and over again. I'm just trying to run it through your head, what I'm saying. Now, take that information with what you will, how you will. But it was a good trip down to New Orleans. Good time. I got this pencil and note of paper that I wrote my notes for the episode down on, and that's been helpful. And right now I'm sketching. So something you gotta know about me is I have this little logo that I sketched for myself. It kind of looks like the number 7, kind of not. And I really don't know why I started doing it. I try to explain to people what it is, but I think one day I just like, oh, this looks cool, and it became my symbol. I'm not doing a great job drawing it now, but do you have a symbol? Is this not good behavior? This isn't even the best. I'm going to cover up my notes, but I'm going to show you it. It looks something like that. That's how it looks. I don't know if it's in reverse on this. I don't. You would think I do video stuff all the time. I know stuff, but I just know what I know. But yeah, I have a little symbol. I wrote down rote learning here. You know about rote? Is that how you pronounce it? Rote, R-O-T-E learning, which is basically just the learning where you're just memorizing things and repeating it, which is the normal type of learning that we do. Rote learning is the process of memorizing specific new items as they are encountered. The basic idea is simple and easy to realize within a computer program. Each time a new and useful piece of information is encountered, it is stored away for future use. So yeah, you're just learning stuff. Memorization, yeah, you're memorizing like the alphabet and numbers. This is always what I thought of school is. A lot of it's just memorizing it and then repeating it back, and then you just forget it, and then you memorize something else, repeat it back and forget it, and you just hope you memorize, the good stuff stays in your mind forever. But it's not the best learning, is it? I mean, how else are you going to teach stuff? Repetition and memorization. I guess the method rests on the premise that the recall of repeated material becomes faster the more one repeats it. Some alternatives to rote learning include meaningful learning. Associative learning. All right, what is meaningful learning? Why did I bring this up? I don't know. I hadn't heard the term roach before. Is that even how you pronounce it? Do you guys know what I'm even saying? How to pronounce Rote? Rote. Oh, there it is. Let's listen to this lady say it. Rote. You hear that? Roach your boat. Gently. Okay, meaningful learning means the act of higher order thinking. Ooh, I like this. And development through intellectual engagement that uses pattern recognition and concept association. It can include, but is not limited to, critical and creative thinking. Okay, well, I'm never going to really know what this really means, but it's probably a sweet way to learn. Sounds like a learning. I like to be creative when I learn. Whenever I take a test at school, in school, with school, I would always read everything. I would know what I needed to remember, and then I'd look at all the things that I'd probably get tested on, and just write the answers on the side of the paper immediately when I got the test. I just have the memorization of all this specific 10 things I think is important. Just be like, doosh, doosh, doosh. Now, am I a big nerd for doing that? I'll say it worked. Definitely worked. If you can just find because you could really growing up figure out which information needed to be retained for tests, the most important information, and then as long as you can just remember specific things about that. I guess this kind of works mostly with history, but with other information, god, what am I even talking about? So rote learning, have we all learned something? I was thinking I had a manager during COVID when it was just beginning. This is just the next topic. There was a thing going around online that said if you sip water every 15 minutes, you can't get COVID. For some reason, if it would wetting your whistle prevented COVID from being spread. So he was doing that. He was just drinking water every 15 minutes. And this guy's my manager. He believed that to be a real thing. How fucking silly. So I just wonder, I've had managers before. Now, managers, if you work a job, aren't always necessarily, the best at the job or the smartest. They're just the one that's most able, I don't know, to give orders, right? And just keep things in track. I've said before, but when I worked at a fucking, what's it called? A telemarketer thing for a day, a telemarketer. They had us just call, they wanted, old people were a good call. People that didn't speak English as a first language were a good call. They were the easiest to convince to buy, what were we selling, a new energy fucking thing. And I remember in my first days, we're not going to have you call people in New Jersey for at least a month. They're real assholes. And I was like, okay. But my fucking manager during lunch, I remember, is just watching, what's that show where people battle in an arena and fall into the water and stuff? Punch Out, Blast Out, Cock Out, Tits Out, whatever that show is called. Hit my balls, mister. Hey, look at those ladies' tits get all splashed in the mud show. Punch Out, right? And he was just sitting there eating a sandwich, laughing hysterically at people falling into the mud, just bouncing off things. I closed my eyes to say that just so I could get into. I did a little act out if you're only listening, but if you see the video, I'm doing a little back and forth. Poo, poo, poo. But yeah, he was just sitting there laughing at all these people bouncing around into the fucking mud. And this guy was the manager of this telemarketing agency where they wanted to exploit old people and people that didn't speak English. It's very funny. What a funny guy. I worked that job. Did I work it just one day? Or no, I showed up maybe 2 days. The second day we got lunch, so I got free lunch, and then I never came back. It was on commission. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing this shit where I'm trying to basically manipulate people to say yes to buy this new energy that's going to cost them more money or just make new people new money. Scamming people. What a fun thing to do. It's fun to scam people legally through telemarketing. What a job. What a turnover rate. That job, people come and go all the time. They don't really keep tabs on the employees. You ever work one of those jobs? This one was right in like Times Square when I first moved to the big old apple. The big ass apple. I was just outside for a bit and I saw a Wawa container in the trash. And we're not near a Wawa at all. Where did it come from? Who put it there? Did they deliver from far away a Wawa that needed a little small package of maybe chicken nuggets? There's really no way to tell what they got, but now granted, they could have got it somewhere else and it was in their car and they forgot about it and they threw it away. Now that's the most reasonable answer. But I'm not a reasonable man. Sometimes I like to be a little irrational with my assumptions of people's trash. I'm a trash inspector. I'm out there gazing around. I see what you're throwing away. What are you throwing away? 6-pack of socks? Well, you didn't even open that shit? What? You don't care about getting fresh socks? You're leaving it out? Maybe you're expecting a homeless man to reach in and touch those socks. And by touch them, I mean take them out. Maybe he'll bring them back to his 5 homeless friends and they'll all have fresh socks for the winter season. Have you ever contemplated that? So before I left New Orleans, I couldn't take home the weed we had obtained. So what I did was I threw it in the trash in front of the hotel. So you know how like you ever see Fargo and they buried the gold on the side of the highway? And in the movie at the beginning, they said it was based off a true story, but that wasn't true. But some guy thought it was true, so he was just digging alongside the highway, and then I guess he like got hypothermia and died because he believed it to be true, and he was trying to find the supposed gold. I only bring that up is because I threw the weed in the trash, but perhaps it didn't get in the bag and it just landed at the bottom of the trash, meaning that there is a trash can somewhere in New Orleans that has, maybe a quarter of an eighth left that you can have if you find it, if you dare. But yeah, no, I wasn't going to sneak it back, so a little trash fucking weed. How do you feel about that? I think I got my hair nice now. The back's all kind of fucking rocky, but we're in it to win it. I don't know what else is going on, to be honest. Just took the dog out for a little walk. A little walk around the block. He barked at other pooches. Big guys walking through. He likes to give a couple of barks at. It's kind of nice, I walk by people. I don't say shit. I don't talk to anyone. I'm just doing what I do. He's out there fucking growling at big dogs, keeping the big dogs in line. He's just a little guy, but he feels like he needs to fucking be chirping at the big boys out there. He's out there roofing at them. Roof. Classic dog noise. If right now you can hear the police sirens going off. What's going on? What could be going on out there? Some kind of crimes being committed? How are the crimes in your area going? You getting a lot of crimes lately, or is it not as many crimes as you might think? Crimes. This is the crime segment of the podcast where I discuss all the crimes going on. Let me Google some nice crimes. If you just Google crimes, it'll just give me the definition, right? I just Google crimes. Let's see what comes up. Yeah, list of criminal charges. Oh, what are the top 10 most common crimes? Could you guess? Oh, drugs, obviously. Assault, duh. DUI, burglary. Oh, I can barely say that word. Theft, fraud, robbery. It's funny that those are all kind of the same thing, but all a little different. Burglary, theft, fraud, robbery, and embezzlement. These are what are 7 crimes? This is just name 7 crimes. What's your favorite crime? What's my favorite crime? It's hard to say. I'm against crime. I don't have a favorite. I don't like any of them. If you're out there committing crimes, get out of town. Okay? You're not going to be committing crimes in my town. Not around my people. My people don't allow your fucking crimes. You're trying to bring all these fucking crimes into my area. You big crime guy. What are the top 3 crimes in the world? So number 1 is robbery, theft, and theft of vehicles. So it's all theft. So I don't know, what's the difference between robbery and theft? I don't even want to Google this. Identity theft is the number 1 growing crime in America. That makes sense. You ever have your ID stolen? Someone's walking around pretending to be you, like, oh, I'm Jonathan. I love buying fucking buckets of fucking poppers from the gay store and shoving dildos in my ass on Jonathan's dime. But I am Jonathan. That's an example of what someone could do with your identity. Using a credit card at really any bodega in town. You can find whatever sort of nail polish remover you need, or, something else. I think that's about it for this episode. I feel like we've ended pretty chill. I mean, we're now in a very cool podcast zone, a friendly environment. If you're really feeling the cast, this part is where we're really kicking. I feel like I just looked at the camera again. I moved it a little bit, but the lighting is looking crisp. I'm just wearing my white t-shirt that I got it's all stained up. I even got more fucking ash on it. I usually wear a nicer shirt for this, but today I'm just, this is just white shirt Matty day. But it doesn't even matter. You can just have a fucking dirty ass white shirt just with next to your light, and that's the cast. That's the cast. Matt Miller Real Podcast. Matt Miller Real Podcast. Instagram. Matt Miller Real Instagram. YouTube.com/Matt Miller Real Comedy. Patreon.com/Matt Miller Real. Just come out. Check it out. Subscribe. Join. Love all around. Love. I don't know if I was starting to develop a thought there about what we were doing, but now I've drifted off and now we're back here. So thanks everyone for listening. Goodbye. It's the Matt Miller Real Podcast. It's the Matt Miller Real Podcast.